I pretty much deal with my email. Look at my hair. Isn't it awesome? Look at that. It just naturally does this. No products or anything. It's pretty sweet. I deal with my email sort of like how I deal with social media. That if I like look at something and somebody has wrote a real long, like it took them a long time to write it, I know that I'm not going to take the time to read it, And usually you could tell by the first sentence what it's about, that it's just like some kind of person with issues. And I just got an email from somebody in regards to a video that I made a few years back, and that was, are all sled dog owners in Alaska shitty to their dogs? That's essentially what it was. And a lot of people in Alaska have sled dogs, and, it's just the truth that they just don't treat them. I don't think they treat them well. They don't. I think that it would be a shitty life to be an Alaskan sled dog. Me personally, I don't care what kind of dog it is. I think it belongs inside with you. It should be inside with you when it's not working, okay? It needs to come inside. I don't want to hear about this. Yeah, but sled dogs need to stay accustomed to the cold and all this bullshit. Maybe find a new sport then, They don't need to be outside all fucking winter. And how they have it, how they do it with the Alaskan sled dogs is they're staked out. So they're just chained up, and each sled dog has its own area, and it can only go a certain distance because it's chained up. And then they build like a little shitty wood box that the sled dog can go in so that it has like a dog house. It's fucking crappy, man. It is. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear it. Find a new sport then. There's no reason to have that. And if you wanted to do it, certainly there must be somebody in Alaska that doesn't stake their dogs out, that uses kennels and runs, would be a much better way to do it, where the dog, do you know what I'm saying? Like, there is nothing shittier than the dog. This is as a dog trainer's, I'm speaking from a dog trainer. Dogs that are staked out like that, many times they're just a mess. They're a fucking mess. I'm not saying that the kennel, like having dog runs, and then there would be a place that would be indoors and the dog could go in and out. I'm not saying that is the perfect solution. I don't like those either. My dad, he had dog runs, and the hunting dogs would be in dog runs, and they'd be outside in Missouri, and he would only bring them in to the basement when it was super, super cold. Like, it had to be like bitterly cold, because he had a similar mentality about, you want the dog to be accustomed to the cold, okay? But there's a solution, there's a midway solution, but it would cost money that I don't think my father perceived back then. It was sort of like more, that's a dog, it stays outside, more sort of like their livestock, okay? So house dogs could be inside at our house. The hunting dogs would be outside. That's just how it was. I didn't like it. I was always like, why can't the hunting dogs be in here too? It's just stupid. It's just stupid. If you had a dog run, and then at the other end of the dog run, like there was like a, sort of small building or something, like a professional kennel or something, something like that, where it could be like semi-heated. You wouldn't have to heat it up to 80 degrees. I'm not suggesting that, but some place that there could be water in there, and it would be warm enough that the water wouldn't freeze, okay? I understand it's wintertime, and I understand that dogs get most of their food, if there are water, from a raw diet. I understand that, and so they're not going to need a lot of water, but it's a dog. Do you love it? Do you care about it? It should be able to get water. Not in Alaska. They're going to have to wait until they eat and get hydrated then. You know, I'm assuming that they give them a real wet sort of meal and hydrate them when they eat. That's how I've always seen it. They've started cooking the salmon because of salmon poisoning disease, so most of them make like this gruel, which would be fine for the dog. You know, it kills that parasite. The gruel could work just fine, and that looks like how they're watering them too. I'm sorry. I think that all dogs belong indoors. And if you have a sport where you have that many dogs, that, you know, I know a dog trainer that she's in California, and she has a lot of dogs. And I know a couple of people, dog trainers, that have a lot of dogs. I don't, compared to most dog trainers. It's true, I don't have that many dogs, but like, I have a friend, she's got 12 or 13 dogs. She keeps them in her house. I don't understand what the problem is. You know, I don't understand why these Alaskan people, these Alaskan mushers can't give their dogs something better. Hey, Char, knock it off, brother. He's messing with my raven, or my raven's messing with him. You know, I mean, get another sport then, or can't. Why? Because it'll cost you more money to build kennels and have like sheds at the end of each kennel with some heat in it, you know? Just keep it above 32 degrees. That would be nice, don't you think? No, you can't do that, because it's looked at as they're just property to you. They're just property to you sled dog owners. You just, you know, breed them, and you're trying to get the fastest group of dogs. And, you know, everything isn't about winning, okay? It isn't. There's more to life than doing a sport, and that is a sport, and winning. It just seems like redneck. It just seems like trailer park-ish. What do you want me to say, man? It just seems shitty. I'm sorry. You Alaskan people, the majority of you with your dogs, are just shitty. That's just strictly my opinion, okay? And I'm not saying all of you. I'm sure that there's some people that really love their sled dogs. When I was growing up in Missouri, I knew somebody that had sled dogs. They were kept indoors. They were kept indoors, and they were in the basement area. And they also had runs outside, so they sort of like went back and forth. I'm sorry. I just think you all are shitty for the most part. Don't take offense. Just think about what I'm saying. If it was kept at above 32 in one area for the dogs, it's not going to screw up their coat, okay? So I don't buy it. If it was kept at 40 degrees, that would be warmer than 0. And I'm not talking about 32, I'm talking about 0. That's a big difference. It's not going to screw up their winter coat. They're still going to be acclimated to the cold. They could still come in and out. Come on, if you can't afford to do that, why are you doing the sport anyway? You know, having 20 dogs is expensive, okay? So if you could barely be able to handle that, which many of them do from what I understand, they can barely handle financially the dogs that they have. Why not just have like one dog as a pet then? You know, if you can't afford to give the dogs real good care, then you shouldn't have that many. My friend in California that has 13 dogs or whatever she has, I don't know what she has right now, but she gives the dogs the best care. Sorry, I think y'all stink. And I'm not gonna change my opinion, and sending me an email that's real long, you're not gonna get me to read it. I'm gonna know instantly what it's about. And it's strictly my opinion. And if it bothers you so much, then there's probably a reason why it bothers you. If I'm totally wrong, it shouldn't bother you. It's a fact. Alaskan dog owners, the sled dog owners, the majority of them aren't real good dog owners. The animals are just sort of looked at as like livestock. That's it.